Since next Monday's review is about this Batman figure from the same movie, I thought it would be fitting for today's review that we take a look at the other BvS Batman figure that Mcfarlane released a while ago. I just want to share my thoughts on what I like and what I don't like about this figure, and I also want to do some comparisons with some of the other Ben Affleck Batman figures that I do have from Mcfarlane Toys. Now, of course, before we dive into the review of this figure, let's take a look at the data profile card as usual. And as you can see, the photo that they use for the card is, of course, the movie poster that was used back in 2016 to promote this movie. On one side, you have Ben Affleck Batman. On the other side, you have Henry Cavill Superman. And I do like that logo in the back where it shows the Bat and Superman logo merged together. Pretty cool. And on the back, his real name is Bruce Wayne. And it reads, "Fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's own formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis's most revered modern-day savior. While the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs, and with Batman and Superman at war with one another, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before." Pretty cool. And that is the card. Now let's talk about the accessories that are included with this figure. So, the first two accessories are interchangeable hands. And on the figure, I do have the fist hands equipped to him. In the packaging, when this figure was in package, he had the two item gripping hands on the figure by default. So you get two pairs of these, and you get two fist hands, which is pretty good. And I do like that. Now, the funny thing about these hands is that I usually like to call them trigger finger hands because it does look like he's meant to hold a gun. Yeah, so there's that. So that can be used to hold some of the items that he does come with. For example, he has a grapple launcher, which is really cool. And I do like the way that this is sculpted. It is painted in the same color, so there's no like contrast. If you are a customizer and you do have this accessory, this is definitely something that you could customize and kind of make it look a little bit different. But nevertheless, really cool that they included this. And they did not add some weird attachment to it, because some of the grapple launchers that they've released in the past with certain figures have like it's shooting something out and it's like attached to it. Like it's not removable. I'm glad they didn't do that with this one. So there's that. And of course, you know, he can also hold his batarangs, and he comes with two of them. Pretty cool. And I do like the shape of these batarangs. They are pretty neat. So those are all his accessories that he includes. Now let's talk about the aesthetics of the figure. And right away, one of the most obvious thing that is present throughout this figure is the texturing of the suit. Now, is this like one-to-one with how the suit looks like in the movie? I don't know. Because, you know, in figure form, things are a little bit different from what it looks like in real life. But I think when it comes to the texturing that they apply to it to try to mimic those patterns on the suit, I think they did a pretty good job. Like, it's pretty much all textured, which that suit and also the Henry Cavill Superman suit in the movie had a lot of texture work to it. There's just a lot of details that are present even within, you know, areas that you wouldn't think would have much texturing. But as you can see, it's like throughout the entire figure. And I love that they applied all this onto it. So I do like that. And another thing that I love so much is they could have left this just like painted black with nothing, right? With just these battle damage marks and then called it a day. But you can see all those little tiny texture details within the Bat logo. And I like tiny little details like that. It just shows that they really wanted this to capture what the suit looks like, instead of just leaving this like flat black paint with a few, you know, damage marks. And yeah. Now, for the gloves down here, you know, where his gauntlets are, I don't know if they ever had texture in the movie. I don't remember. It's been too long. But if they didn't, I think it's fine. I mean, it's pretty much simplistic looking, right, on both sides. And of course, there are some details that you can say are missing, like for his belt. I'm pretty sure there's like tiny little details that could be painted better than just leaving it all gold, right? But again, this was, I think, a $25 figure when it came out. And, you know, it's not bad for what it is. It's not like, you know, you're not expecting like Hot Toys quality with this type of figure. But I think for a $25 figure that's basing its design from a movie source material, I think they did okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It captures what the suit looks like, in my opinion. Now, the one thing that I don't like is the fact that he doesn't feel thick enough. Because if you've seen Ben Affleck in the costume, he looks really buff in it, right? Like, he looks really beefy. And something about this figure that throws me off is that he doesn't look like that. He looks very, I wouldn't say like skinny, because he's not skinny, but he's like in between skinny and muscular. And the other part that throws me off that I don't like is the fact that his head sculpt, which is situated on his neck, feels way too long. I think other people have brought this up too, where it kind of feels like he has like a giraffe head. They say this because like when he looks up in some angles, it doesn't look right. And then when he tilts his head to like some angles, it looks too long. Like, it just looks weird. It doesn't feel like it's situated right on the neck. Like, the neck peg should be like a little bit shorter. And I've seen modifications that people have done to this figure where they swap the neck pegs to make the head sink in a little bit more. And yeah, he's not supposed to have like a long neck. That's all I'm going to say. And the neck for this figure does feel a little bit longer than it needs to be because of that neck peg inside the head. And I did do the mod before because I swapped it with another neck joint from another figure that I had a duplicate of. And it kind of works, but at the same time, it still looks weird because the body doesn't feel thick enough to match, you know, the little modification for the head. So that is something that I don't like right there, because he's not supposed to be, you know, this, I don't know what to call it. Like, he's not thick, he's not skinny. He's supposed to be a little bit more wider, because Ben Affleck, when he's wearing this suit, kind of has that, you know, sort of look. And that was trying to capture that whole, like, real life version of what the Dark Knight Returns Batman would look like, right? Because this Batman takes a lot of inspiration from the Frank Miller Batman. So, yeah. Okay. Head sculpt wise, I don't know if you can say the likeness is there, because I'm going to bring in another Batman figure that's of Ben Affleck, and it has a different, you know, Matt Wolf piece entirely. It doesn't even look like the same thing. So, you know, it's not a bad head sculpt, but does it look like Ben Affleck in the suit? I don't know. So I'll leave you to be the judge of that. And for the cape here, this was before they started doing more wired cloth capes. So they kind of started off with these flimsy, you know, cloth capes that didn't have wiring to it. It's the usual stuff you see sometimes with action figures. It's not good. It's not bad, but it's better than a, you know, plastic cape at least. So if you do want to put them inside like a Batmobile for fun, you can definitely make that happen because this cape is, you know, cloth. So now that's another thing that I'm hoping that we do see is the Batmobile for this Batman. That would be so cool to get that for this figure. Okay, let's talk about articulation now, because that's pretty much all the aesthetics I can really point out on this figure. It's very nicely detailed, nicely textured, just has a weird long neck that doesn't look right, and it doesn't feel wide enough as a body buck to capture that Ben Affleck Batman feel. But overall, as a Batman figure, I think it's okay. It's still all right. So, all right, let's talk about articulation. So, since he has a longer neck, kind of, which is what throws me off, he can look up pretty good, right? That's not bad. So, he can look up. He can look down, which is also good. He can tilt his head side to side really good. Oh, his legs moved. He can turn his head you know, all the way like this if you want to. But again, depending on the angle that you have his head, sometimes it looks okay. And then sometimes it looks weird. Like if you have his head angled like this from a distance, that looks really strange. Like it's like, why is his neck so long? It's not supposed to be like that. That just throws me off. Okay. And then for his arms, he does spread out okay. I think the butterfly joint on this side is tight. Or was it this side? I don't remember. But the butterfly joint for this figure should move. It's really stiff on my copy. But he can get his arms up if you heat this up and move the butterfly joints a little bit. He can go all the way back, which is really good. He does have double jointed arms, which is awesome. He does have swivel in the hands. And he does have articulation in the hands. Let me see which side it was at. Oh, here we go. It does have it. It doesn't want to move. Yeah, it's stiff. He does have the upper bicep rotation right there. Pretty good. As far as torso, he's not going to really crunch forward too much, sadly. But he can at least lean a little bit forward with it. Not too bad, but, you know, not the best. And there is rotation, but it's like really freaking tight as well. Again, this copy of the figure, for some reason, everything is just tighter on here, which is not like a bad thing, but, you know, if you're trying to get them into some poses. Now, you can see that as I rotate it, it looks weird from some angles. Yeah, it starts doing that. So maybe it's not a good thing for that. He can lean back, which is cool. For his waist, it does move. Surprisingly okay. Yeah, not too bad. When it comes to his legs, I am not a fan of his legs because maybe it's just my copy. This knee is like facing this way, right? And usually if the die cut were to work, you can fix that by like rotating it. I mean, not die cut. The upper thigh swivel. There's no die cut on this figure. Man, I'm mixing things up. So the upper swivels are not working on this figure. I've heated them up before, and they just don't want to loosen. I feel like I might have to actually like take the legs off of the joints in order to make this adjustment, which I'm scared of doing because I might break something. But I'll probably try again in the future to see if I can get the upper part of it heated up a little bit more, so I can probably fix this part. So not liking the fact that this is angled inward. So yeah. And then when it comes to kicking out, he's not going to kick out too much because this gets in the way, the belt gets in the way. So trying to do a upward kick is not possible with this figure. So that sucks, especially if you're trying to do like some sort of kick pose. Now, the double joint does work. As you can see, it's quite tight, but you can get it to work. And then it kind of looks a little ugly in the legs right there up here. But, you know, you do have your double joint. You do have articulation in the feet. There is swivel, and there is toe articulation, which, is it working? There we go. And you got that too. So, standard Mcfarlane articulation. And, of course, I should not forget to show this. He can spread out his legs. Okay. So, that's not too bad of a range of motion. But yeah, again, the upper thigh swivel thing, not a fan of how that doesn't work on every single figure. I might have to do some sort of modification to that. And yeah, all right, let's swap some accessories onto him. So I'm going to take one of these fist hands off, and I'm going to put one of the gripping item hands on. And I'm going to put on this grapple launcher on this hand. See if I can fit it in there. There you go. Easy. Pretty easy to do. And then for his other hand, you know, you can have him holding the batarang like he's about to throw one of the batarangs, right? If you want to get him into a pose, let's see. See what kind of pose I want to do. So yeah, you could do something like this for fun, you know, like he's, let me just show it, like he's about to take off or something, right? So, you know, make up your own poses. But I'm going to have him pose like this for fun, just because, you know, I want to show him with his accessories. And now we can get into the comparison section, where I bring in a few other figures of Ben Affleck Batman. So, let me zoom in. So there he is, the regular suited version. Here he is next to the armored version, of course, that recently came out last year. And now, you know, the whole BvS sort of thing is complete, because the other suit that he wore in this movie is, of course, the armored suit. So it's pretty cool to see both of these figures, you know, together. And I'm going to actually just kind of move them forward. Yeah, there you go. So you can see how tall the armored suit is next to the regular one. So there's that. And of course, this is the other version of the BvS Batman. He was in the Nightmare sequence. Hopefully he can stand. There you go. And yeah, it's like a similar, you know, version to this suit, right? Same textures, but he has like a different pair of pants. He's all like pretty much like a Wastelander sort of look. So I do like that as well. And that is the other one from BvS. And of course, the last one is not from BvS. This is his Justice League battle armor version. That's what I call this, because it is literally like a battle armor. I moved the cape. And you can see the difference between the head sculpts of these two figures. And I'm going to try to just show them. And you see the difference here? Like, this kind of looks more like him. I don't know. I like this head sculpt more than this one. So, yeah. So you can see the differences between the head sculpts of when they were released. Because this one was released back, I think the original mold of this was back in 2022 with the Snyder Cut. This version that I have right here is from the Batman movie 6-pack. Right, that thing. That crazy box set. So this is where that was from. There was one where he had the goggles too. But yeah, you can see the head sculpts are completely different. Like, they don't even look the same. And I don't know which one is more accurate to the likeness. So there is that. Last but not least, you can technically put him on this motorcycle from the Flash movie. So, of course, in the Flash movie, Ben Affleck Batman character, you know, he had the this motorcycle thing, which is pretty cool. I've tried to put him on the motorcycle, and I think it would work better if I can somehow get these thigh swivels to move. And I think it works. Now, the version that I found to fit this bike better for me is the armored one. So, yeah. But I think the regular suited one could probably work if I fix, you know, certain things about it. But, yeah, you could probably pair it with the bike if you want to, if you have this figure. So, that's another option right there. And that is basically going to be our look today at this, you know, BvS Ben Affleck Batman figure in the regular bat suit. It's an okay figure. It's not the best, you know, live action figure that they've put out. I still have problems with some of it. You know, the neck up here and the fact that the body's not wide enough to kind of make it look like it's Ben Affleck. I don't know, just these tiny things that to me stand out that I don't like. Now, if you don't see this or you don't see these little flaws, you will like this figure. That's cool. Now, for me, I notice these things all the time whenever I look at this figure, so I just don't like the way it came out. But as a Batman figure, I still think it's okay. And yeah, if you found today's review informative, do give it a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more action figure content and whatever else I do on here, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.